Whoever I write here at 12 is the first team out. That ain't the last team in. The final spot in the college football playoff, as to where it stands right now before championship week, and not much is probably going to change after championship week. They go up in my rankings after a semi-nice win this weekend. You know what time it is. You know. I know why you're here. You know why you're here. By the way, we have made investments in the channel. I got not one, but two new expo markers. So excited to use these. This is going to be, you know, when I draw arrows down, the red arrow, blue arrow for when they go up. And I need to, I know, I keep putting it off. I think I said it last week. I think I said it 2 weeks ago. I need to get a new black one because I don't know if some of y'all can tell. It is, I mean, it's barely even right. And it is, yeah, it's on its last leg. That was actually pretty good. But it's dry now. It's probably got, I could probably muster it out another week, but I really need to go this week to the store, get a new expo marker. But for now, we're going to rock with this. We still got the blue and red one. And that's right besides the point. The point is, it is time for the new and improved MBG college football rankings. Everybody clap it up, clap it up, everybody clap it up, 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 clap it up. This is exciting because there's a lot of chaos. Who's going to get that final spot? Can Alabama, the Crimson Tide, sneak their way in? That's every college football fan's biggest nightmare. They hated it when it happened last year. Is the committee going to have Alabama bias? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But we're not here to talk about the committee, the nerds. We're going to talk about me and my rankings. I feel like I'm missing something important I needed to tell y'all too before we go. Oh, yeah. It is, per usual, it is Sunday night. I stayed up, and I've been thinking long and hard about this to give y'all some perspective. By the way, shout out to Tobey Maguire, best Spider-Man of all time. It is 3:11 a.m., so yeah, your boy Matt is extremely tired. Not going to hold y'all. I ain't going to lie, though, as well. I have a lot of energy for this video because I'm just so excited, and I'm ready to get into these rankings. This is one of my favorite videos to make. There's a lot of chaos that ensued. There is a ton. I mean, what's my flash on? Sorry about that. But there is a ton of movement in my rankings, and I'm going to explain every single bit and piece of it. So this will probably be, per usual, another long video. So strap in, buckle up, get your snack popcorn. You know the intro. Get all nice up, get nice and comfy. We're here to talk about college football and college football only. I've done all my film watching. If you're wondering why it's so late, I waited till the BYU game ended. They won that one, so that means Colorado's not going to the Big 12 championship. Sorry to the Colorado fans. I think it is BYU and Iowa State in the Big 12 championship, or Arizona State. No, or is it Iowa State and Arizona State? I don't know, something like that. On the grand scheme of things, nobody really cares about that. But the winner of that to get in. Anyways, the point is I stayed up to watch that game. And then as soon as that game was over, watched film on all these teams who I'm considering for their last spot and just rewatched some of the games and stuff. And by the way, I hope I can find this comment. Somebody on one of the last videos we made when I did my rankings, I said I was watching film. They said Matt's film watching is watching the ESPN highlights. Bro. You know what? I ain't going to say that. Dude said Matt's film study is watching the ESPN highlights. That's a good one. I'll give it to you. And last thing I'm going to say before we get into these rankings, the Nutcracker situation. So in the previous video we did, the last video you're seeing on your Saturday night, as some of y'all stayed up to watch it, I talked about the Texas game, my reaction to that, and then I talked about all the fights and brawls that was happening in college football. And in that video, I popped up this comment that you're now looking at right now that says, name the Nutcracker Marty. And I thought he was saying, like he was calling me Marty, because for some reason, I'm not going to get into all the comment lore and stuff, but people have been calling me Marty. And I thought he was talking to me like saying, Marty, name the Nutcracker. But a lot of people were saying in that video, no, he's saying, name the Nutcracker Marty. And what do y'all think about that? Low key, that sounds like a good idea. Let me know in the comment section. Should we name the Nutcracker Marty? And if not Marty, what should we name it? This is a democracy, not a dictatorship. So You guys decide. That's enough jibber jabber though. You're probably sitting there saying, well, what is this idiot talking about? Can he just talk about some college football? I know, I'm getting to it. Let's keep the nutcracker in frame. Okay, getting seasonal mood. All right, there we have it. It's a relatively simple process. Make sure y'all can see this real good before we get to writing and stuff. I think that's good. 1 through 6, 7 through 12. We're going to start at 12, work our way up. And 2, oh, almost forgot about this. We are going to do in the top right here, we're going to do the bubble watch. Oh, I like this blue marker. That looks pretty good. If I could write, it'd look even better. I just realized I can't do it in top right because 7's going to go there. So probably, let's go up here, top left. Why not? Bubble watch. All right, cool. We'll draw a line under that. You know what I just thought about? Since I feel like all the controversy, or I don't feel like, I know all the controversy is going to be right in here and up in here, why don't we start out with number 1 and work our way down? What do y'all think about that? I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. At number 1, and that's what they're going to do in the ranking show because there's not a lot of controversy, or that's what I think they may do. At number 1, no need to talk about this, fellas. No need. This is not controversial. We got the Duckies, best team in the nation. I don't need to sit up here and blah, 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 blah. Best team in the nation, period, the end. Nobody's arguing that. They're trying to talk about there. Number 2. That's where things start to get interesting. I'm way too close to y'all. I don't know why I'm always so close. Ever since I started doing these rankings, I've stated one thing since day 1, and I'll continue to say it in every single video. There is a huge gap from 2 and 1. 2 through 12 are really good teams. 1 is a great / elite team. And what do you know? I think it still holds true. At number 2, and this may shock some of y'all, but they go up because of Ohio State losing. I don't think any of y'all are going to expect this. And we give them the blue arrow for going up. I can't ride with this new marker, man. It's like the point on it's weird. There we go. I got the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I know what you're sitting there saying, Matt, what in the world? I just saw you throw a hissy fit a couple nights ago. Actually, it was last night, but when you're seeing this, 2 nights ago. And yes, I did throw a hissy fit. But that's because I thought Georgia Tech got hosed. They got screwed. Georgia is similar, like, the more I think about it, the more like Georgia is kind of like Alabama. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not. Who knows? When Georgia's playing at their best, they can beat anybody. When they're playing at their worst, they can probably lose anybody. The Georgia Tech game, I know it wasn't pretty, but I have the golden rule, and it's not even my rule, it's everybody's rule. If you keep up with college football or sports, it's a rival game, throw the rankings out the window. And Georgia, I'll be the first to tell you, and Kirby will tell you, they didn't play good, but winners win, they found a way to win. Them being at 2 has a lot to do with who I have at 3. So let me give you 3 before I say anything more about Georgia, before some of y'all go in the comment section and call me an idiot. Let me just say this too. I didn't even really want to put Georgia at 2, but I kind of had to. And you see what I'm talking about? The number 3 team goes up in my rankings. I got the Texas Longhorns. Now this team looked good. They overcame Quinn Ewers' multiple turnovers in the red zone. That game wouldn't have been close if Ewers just didn't have a lot of whoopsie daisies. I got Texas at 3. My immediate reaction when they won is I was like, oh yeah, I got to put them at number 2. But I was like, oh, I can't do that. Georgia demolished them. And when I looked before filming this video, I looked at all the strength of schedules, everybody's body of work, rewatched film, did all that for every single team on here, just for some clarification. And when I looked at Georgia's schedule and their strength of schedule, I'm like, outside of now, I know it's like we're moving the goalpost, but I'm just explaining my thought process. Heading into this game, they didn't have a ranked win. Best win was Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's mid. You beat A&M, you know, I give you that. It's a good win, but it's not great. And here's what it comes down to for me. Georgia destroyed you. If you would have lost to Georgia by like 3 or 7, I'm probably giving Texas the edge here. But the fact Georgia just destroyed them on their home field, it was worse than 30-15. That score was just even. I just can't say Texas is better than Georgia. I don't want to put Georgia at 2, but I value head-to-head a ton when it's close. And I do think it's close. Therefore, I got to give the edge to Georgia. Moving along here to number 4. This team is hot, and they are playing some outstanding football. Outstanding. They go up in my rankings as well. That has a lot to do with Louisville State losing. I got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and I don't think they're being talked about enough. Let's clap it up for them. Now I know what you're sitting here saying. Matt, what are we clapping for? They lost to Northern Illinois. Hey, man, I know. Nobody climbed more. Me, myself, and I had a blast reacting to that game. I reacted to it live. We all had a blast. We all made fun of them. But good googly moogly. The way they've responded after losing that game, they've just demolished everybody in their way. They have literally just smashed every single team. Now, I know USC threw that pick 6 at the end that kind of sealed it. And if they don't throw that pick 6, well, they threw back-to-back ones. I'm talking about the first one. They might have tied it up, but that was still a solid win for Notre Dame. And all they've done is win. I like this team. Ryan Leonard, if he's playing not even like his best game, if he's just playing his B-plus game, Notre Dame can beat anybody. It's such a hard team for some people to evaluate. I understand it because you still say, yeah, but they lost to Northern Illinois, and they really ain't beat nobody significant. Because now when you look at their A&M win, and it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. A&M really ain't that good, which we already knew. But a lot of people are giving them credit for that win. And I still give them credit for that win. But what they've done that has impressed me the most is something all these other teams really ain't done. And that's just take care of business. And we've seen it this year in college football. That's hard to do. So I just really like Notre Dame winning the games they're supposed to win. And they haven't slipped up since that game. So that's why I got them at 4. I just think they're a really good football team. At number 5, this is a team I think a lot of people are sleeping on just because of what happened to them. But they took care of business Saturday and locked in a spot in the playoff. This ain't even my opinion. They are locked in. They will be making this playoff. They go up in my rankings. I got the Tennessee Volunteers. This one's relatively simple win up because Ohio State lost. Tennessee, I've been saying this past couple weeks, y'all probably tired of it. They played really good against Georgia. Georgia just also played good, and somebody had to walk out there with an L, and that was Tennessee. Tennessee had I'm not going to say really hard game, but a semi-decent hard game on the road against Vandy. And there's a lot of pressure on Tennessee knowing, hey, we got to win this. If we don't win, we're not in. There wasn't any pressure on Vandy because, Vandy's they beat Alabama. That made not just their season, that made their century. So Vandy has no pressure for the next however long. But Tennessee, they've been known the past 15 years to pull a Tennessee. They didn't do it. They locked into a playoff. Congratulations to them. I know the Tennessee fan base can kind of be a little toxic, but I'm happy for that fan base, and I've enjoyed them on the channel. Not much more to say there. Let's move on to number 6. At number 6, kind of didn't have a choice. Oh, we might not be able to fit their entire name on here. Have to do some adjustments to even get it there, but y'all know who's going here. I'll have to write the last part small. And they are getting the red arrow. Crap, I'm dropping everything. I got the little bro, Ohio State. Some people may say, that's too high, Matt. You'll see why I got some of these other teams. You kind of got to put them at 6. So when you talk about Ohio State now, it's kind of like you're just going to be defending them. Well, yeah, but they did this. It's just going to be, you got to defend them when they don't deserve defending. How in the world did you lose to this Michigan team 4 straight years? They will still be getting in the playoff, whether some people like it or not. Heck, my humble opinion, we might as well just put Michigan in. Is anyone going to be mad at that? I think Michigan deserves to be in over Ohio State, beat them for the 4th straight year on their home field. That's just me. Ohio State really don't deserve to be in this playoff just based off of that loss to Michigan, but they're going to make it, and it's really not going to amount to a hill of beans because as long as Ron Day's the head coach, they ain't going to do nothing. So they'll get in. They may win a game. They may even win two, but they ain't going to win it all. They dropped down, obviously, because they lost, and I'll explain why they only dropped to 6 once I get into some of these other teams because it gives you more context and perspective. At number 7 in my rankings, they go up. I believe I have them going up 1 spot. I could check, but really don't matter because they're still going to be in the playoff regardless. And, you know, the team's not, really, the top 10 is not going to be controversial. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions. They win. They don't just win, they run it up on Maryland. What in the world was that? James Franklin just said, screw it. We launching that thing up. We going to score. Steve Spurrier mentality. I like it. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about that. Penn State is a good football team. Some may say really good. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I've liked what they've done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Penn State is a legit playoff team. I mean, I don't even know, like, how you could say they're not. I know, like, okay, they didn't win, like, a big game this year, but their only loss is to Ohio State, and they could have easily won that game. At number 8, and this kind of explains more why I have Ohio State at 6, I got the Fighting. Let me write it. They go up to 1 spot because I had them at 9 last week. I got the Fighting Kurt Cinettis. Holy schmoly. Dude, chill. I even tweeted out, I was like, dude, chill. We're going to put you in the playoff. Did you see what they did at Purdue? Chill. That's all I'm going to say. Chill out, dude. Like, you good. You could have won the game by 1. You're getting in. Calm down. You're getting in the playoff. I actually have them. I think the committee had them at 10. I had them at 9 last week. I'm high on this Indiana team. I like them. I know a lot of people just can't wrap their brain or mind around Indiana being good at football, but they are. It's just one of those years for them. I think they can make some noise. Of course, everybody's going to have recency bias and just remember what happened against Ohio State. But Ohio State is still a good team. I know that's also kind of hard for people to say considering what happened. They are. Let's not overreact. Ohio State is a good football team. Indiana's a good football team. But now I can explain why I have Little Bro State at 6. So Little Bro State beat Penn State. So obviously I can't have Penn State jumping them. And then Little Bro State demolished. I feel like I've said demolished 40 times in this video. My apologies, guys. It's kind of late. Little Bro State demolished Indiana. So there's just no way I can drop them below them. I value head-to-head too much. And I also think Ohio State, it didn't even get to it like a head-to-head thing. I think Ohio State is better than Penn State and Indiana. It only gets to head-to-head if it's debatable, like if it's really close. At number 9, not too much to say here. Just due to the fact they keep winning, and as long as they keep winning, they will be in this playoff. They go up 1 spot because a team in front of them lost. I got the Fighting Ashton Genties in Boise State. Yeah. There's nothing to be said about that one. At number 10, right behind Boise State, I believe the committee actually has them ahead of them. I got SMU. Rhett Lashley has done an amazing job with them. Did y'all see that? Oh, yeah, you probably saw that. Whatever. We leave it in the video. They go up 1 spot because Miami lost and they took care of business. Here's where things start to heat up. 11 and 12. Before we get into 11 and 12, let's go over to our bubble watch, which y'all can see over here. Here's something y'all need to know. The winner of the Big 12 is guaranteed a spot in this playoff. So the Big 12 ain't going to be sniffing this top 12. But they're getting a team in. It's like a team that wins the conference in March, or not March Madness, but they win their conference championship in basketball, and they weren't going to get in that large spot, so they steal a spot. That's good. What was that? Sorry, late. That's what's going to happen with the Big 12. So over here, I'm going to write Big 12 winner, and it's looking like, well, I ain't even going to speculate. There's no need to. the Big 12 winners getting in. Can y'all see that over there? Yeah, y'all can see it pretty good. And there's also another team on the bubble. I'll get to them after I name off 11 and 12. At number 11, let me get a swig of my drink because this is about to get heated and controversial. At number 11, and here's also something y'all need to know. This is the final spot. This is not, 12 is not the final spot. 11 is the final spot because, like we have over here with the bubble watch, the winner of the Big 12 is getting in, which means only the top 11 teams are going to make it. For example, this week, Clemson was ranked 12th in the nation, but they were the first team out. Why? Because the winner of the Big 12 is getting in. It's simple. I know it can be kind of confusing, but there's nothing to be confused about. I'm going to say this one more time. Whoever I write here at 12 is the first team out. That ain't the last team in. And I'm going to say that again before we end off the video. At number 11, the final spot in the college football playoff, as to where it stands right now before championship week, and not much is probably going to change after championship week. They go up in my rankings after a semi-nice win this weekend. Can y'all see that? I know there's a blur kind of. I'm going to scoot it up a little. I got South Kakalaki getting the final spot in the college football playoff. Clap it up for South Kakalaki. And at number 12, I guess I need to write them. And we'll just explain all this. 12th best team in the nation, but not good enough to make the playoff because of the Big 12. They do go up one spot. At number 12, as you can see, I got Alabama. And on the bubble watch, the last team on the bubble I have, and this is the only team on the bubble, Miami. So I have Miami dropping out. At first, when they lost today, I was like, nah, Miami's still getting in. But then I looked at their strength of schedule and strength of record and all that stuff, and I was shocked when I found out that they don't have a top 25 win this year, guys. Not one. That's going to hurt them a lot. You don't have a top 25 win. The committee's going to probably view them like a Boise or SMU. It's like, dang, yeah, I mean, you only have 2 losses, but you don't even have a good win. That's how I think the committee's going to look at it, and that's how I look at it. I'm not, okay, let's clarify too. I'm not projecting what the committee's going to do. These are my rankings, but I'm just saying I think the committee is going to take that into account. So here's the real controversial one. And we'll underline this. South Carolina, Alabama. That also means I have Miami at 13, if you're curious. So it came down to Miami, South Carolina, and Alabama. I know my Bama fans, you're disappointed, and you're not going to like this. And I don't expect you to because you're an Alabama fan. But let me explain to you why I put South Carolina ahead of Alabama. Let's put this over here. Timothy and Bobby, I see you. You're flying to the comments. Dude, just calm down. Hear me out. Hear me out. Listen to what I got to say. And then whatever you want to write, feel free to write it. Because I already know what you're writing. I can see you. I can smell you. I can smell you. You're in the comment section writing, oh my goodness, Matt, you just told me you got Georgia ahead of Texas and Ohio State ahead of Penn State and the Fighting Kurtzinettis because you value head-to-head a lot. And I do. Correct! Bingo! You're 100% right. But what did I also say earlier? That only comes into play when it's close. With Georgia and Texas, it was close for me. With Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, kind of close. Or those aren't really close. Those didn't come into effect. I didn't need those. But that one was close. This one was not close. As much as, like, this is the analyst in me talking, the Bama fan in me wants to tell all the other Bama fans, I hate it. I hate it so much for Alabama. I hate that I feel this way. I do. But back to me being an analyst, South Carolina, it's not even close. They are the much better team than Alabama, especially when you look at the past 6 weeks. And that matters because it's way better to be playing your best ball in the last 6 weeks compared to the first 6 weeks. It's kind of like March Madness. What teams make a deep run in March Madness? The teams that are hot. You don't ever see a team in March Madness who finish like 5-5 in their last 10 games go on a run. That's just rare. That's a unicorn. Normally it's the teams that win their conference championship or are like 10-2 in their last 12 games, something like that. South Carolina's on a 6-game win streak. Alabama is on a downward trend. South Carolina is on the upward trend. Is anybody going to disagree with that? If you do, you're just an idiot or an Alabama fan. One or two, you don't know ball. South Carolina is better on offense than Alabama currently, and they're better on defense. There's nothing that Alabama has done outside the LSU game that has shown me consistently they are better than South Carolina. That's a big word. Consistently and consistency. South Carolina has that. Alabama doesn't. Don't get me wrong, Alabama has their spurts of greatness, but they also have their spurts of, well, not even a spurt. Did you watch the game against Oklahoma? Did you watch the game against Vanderbilt? Sheesh. Vanderbilt, it's not even like they struggled with Vanderbilt. They got dominated. Dominated. Embarrassing. And I think South Carolina beat Vanderbilt by 21. Something for your train of thought. I know. Mr. Matt, Alabama beat South Carolina. I get it. And I value head-to-head a ton. I cannot harp on that enough. But it's not close. And the committee's even stated this. Head-to-head is only when it's close. And they take it into account. And it is a big factor, but it's not the biggest. If we feel like the committee, or I, in this case an example, feel like South Carolina is much better than Alabama, or is just the overall better team, then I can put South Carolina head over Alabama, despite the head-to-head. And also, let's talk about this. That game was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And if South Carolina had a field goal kicker, they'd probably win the game. Okay? 2, if that game was in South Carolina, oh no, Alabama's losing by at least 10. Bet your best bet. Alabama would have lost that one. They almost lost it at home, and we've seen Alabama on the road. Lost to Tennessee, lost to Vandy, got blown out by Oklahoma. And that blowout loss to Oklahoma is really hurting Alabama in my eyes. It's got to. You didn't even compete. And another thing that hurts Alabama is today, so South Carolina, let's talk about this, just went on the road to Clemson's home stadium. That's a hostile environment. That's a hard place to win. And won. I don't care if it was by 3. Did they struggle at times? Yes. Was it sloppy? Rival matchup. You beat the 12th ranked team in the nation. On their home field. That's what playoff teams do. You know what playoff teams don't do? They don't have 4 turnovers at home to a bad Auburn football team. Auburn ain't even going to make a bowl game. Alabama had 4 turnovers. Ryan Williams is just falling off. He got nerfed or patched or something. Dropped a touchdown, 55-yard touchdown. Fumbled the ball. Milroe fumbled 3 times. If Alabama, I'm telling you, if Alabama would have went out there and won 52-10, heck, even like 38-10, I probably would have had Bama ahead of South Carolina. But Bama just didn't look good today against a bad football team. If Bama was playing Oklahoma again today, they probably would have lost. Seriously, they would have lost. And we saw what LSU did to Oklahoma. I think LSU hung up like 37 on Oklahoma tonight, and Alabama could only get 3. Okay, the Ryan Williams touchdown got called back. 10. It would have been 10 if that didn't call back. Come on, man. I don't know how anybody can convince themselves that Alabama is better than South Carolina. And this is a Bama fan telling you this. Like I say, though, this is the analyst in me talking. But I know some of you view me as like, a lot of y'all don't really view me as a legit analyst, which is like fine or whatnot. You view me as, oh, that's MattBeGreat. He's an Alabama fan, which is true. But like I've said, I pride myself on being an analyst first. And that's what I'm doing right now. I would love to tell you, if you want the Bama fan in me, that, like, trust me, I would love to sit here and tell you, hey, I think Alabama is better than South Carolina, but I don't believe that. Like, that'd be me lying. And I just can't lie, dude. I can't sleep at night knowing I didn't tell the truth, or that's just how I am. I'm trying to think anything else I need to. Oh, yeah, Miami. So, Miami, I did explain that, right? Yeah, they don't even have a top 25 win. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how anybody could tell me or anybody believes Alabama's better than South Carolina. I don't know how anybody could actually believe Miami's better than South Carolina or Alabama. But also, they don't even deserve to be ranked ahead of them. Miami has struggled. Look, they got 2 losses, but they could have easily had like 5 this year. Y'all saw what happened in the Virginia Tech game, the Cal game. And I'm not here to play the if and or but game, but Miami's just, they're not a legit playoff team. And that's the funny thing. When you start getting like past 10, it's kind of like, oh yeah, well that team has three or 4 losses. Oh yeah, so does that team. You kind of just got to start plugging people in. I would go with, if it was me, I'd go with South Carolina. They're a hot team playing outstanding football and won on the road against Clemson. And also, Alabama does not look that good. That's it. That's my rankings. That's the top 12. As to what the committee and the nerds are going to do Tuesday night, I ain't got a clue. I seriously don't have a clue. Nothing would shock me. I wouldn't, I ain't even going to say that. I'll say my live reaction. I really don't even want to think about it. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on my rankings. Also, let me know your thoughts. Like, who do you have in the last spot? Say this one more time. Alabama, just because I have them at 12, does not mean they getting in. That's actually the first team out. Big 12 winners getting in. The Miami one, gosh, that's just so interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with them. And here's the thing, unfortunate part for South Carolina. If you don't just got to hope and pray the committee thinks you're better than Alabama, you got to hope and pray the committee thinks you're better than Miami. And the one thing that hurts you is you do have 3 losses and Miami only has 2. And let's talk about this. If South Carolina doesn't get hosed in that LSU game, they're in this playoff. Wow. I knew that play would come back to bite them in the butt this year. Hate it for them. But like we say on this channel, it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts down below about that. Bye-bye.